Hi folks, Skullgrim140 back for another Transformers review, and as you can pretty much already tell, I've had a haircut. Thanks for noticing. Going for a different look for a change. I kind of got a little bit tired of the long hair for a little bit and just trimmed it just a bit. I don't know why I'm talking about my hair all of a sudden. I'm trying to do something new. Yes, anyway, gone off subject. Yes, back for another Transformers review, and this time we're going to be taking a look at a character from a different series that's been added into a different toy line. And for a lot of different reasons, it's turned out to be very successful because of the way that it looks and because of the way that it's put together and because it's so cleverly designed. And this just goes to show that Hasbro, as much as they can get things wrong, they can also get things right in many different ways. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Reveal the Shield, Classics Generations, whatever you want to call it, Lugnut. And right away, I am so impressed with this figure. This is one of those figures that is a highlight in the current series that it's in, and it stands out very well for having a very unique look and for being as just as interesting as much as possible, and that's a very good thing to see. But yes, here is Lugnut in all of his glory. But yeah, what can I really say about Lugnut? Well, I'm gonna have to talk about his background, because I would go ahead and talk about the his animated toy, but I don't really have the animated toy, sadly. As much as I want that toy, I like that toy a lot. I think that toy is very well designed, and it has a very blobby look to it, but it still looks pretty cool. But yes, Lugnut's bio as it is. Lugnut, of course, is a character from the animated line, and his character is that he is known for being the strongest and most powerful in the Decepticons, and his most well-known feature is that he is known for being very fiercely loyal to Megatron, to the point of a very religious, fanatical degree. Say for example, Megatron asked Lugnut to fill in his accounts. I know that doesn't sound as very badass, but I'm pretty sure he'd do that with no problem. Lugnut, say for example, Megatron asks Lugnut to jump into the air, he'd do it with no questions asked. And yes, pretty much anything Lugnut will do, he'll do without questioning his leader Megatron, and that's an interesting thing. That's a decent thing to see. In fact, there are many different characters in Transformers that have done that. Beast Wars Inferno is a very loyal character. In fact, I said a while ago in my review of Inferno that if Lugnut and Inferno were to ever have a fan club together, it'd be interesting to see those characters just to bicker and see which Megatron they prefer. Either they prefer the Beast Wars Megatron or the animated Megatron. That would have been cool to see. It's a shame that we'll never get a spin-off of those guys. It would have been cool. And come to think of it, there really don't seem to be that many loyal characters if you can count Soundwave. But Soundwave isn't really loyal to the point of a religious fanaticism. Lugnut pretty much wrote the book on that, and Soundwave really doesn't. But Lugnut is a very unique character in that he's very strong, very powerful, very loyal, and he is known for being quite large. In fact, he stands about 44 meters standing up in robot mode. And because of his Ulmo, which is quite complex and very huge, you can see why he'd be quite large. And of course, Lugnut in animated is voiced by David Kaye, Megatron from Beast Wars, and many other roles. If you don't know who he is, go look on IMDb or Wikipedia and just see the amount of roles he's had over the years. He's a very well-known voice actor and all that other stuff. But yes, that's pretty much Lugnut. I think I've covered Lugnut's background as it is. Lugnut, if you want to know more about Lugnut, you can watch as many people's reviews on this character as much as possible, because Lugnut, there is no shortage of Lugnut reviews, whether it be this Lugnut or the animated Lugnut. Lugnut is as he is, being a very fiercely loyal, strong, powerful Decepticon that can unleash the punch of kill everything. That's one of his well-known attacks. But, yeah, that's pretty much Lugnut in general. So, yes, now that I've rambled on about his bio, we are now going to cut straight onto the toy. This toy, I want to talk a little bit about the toy for a second. This is a fine example of what Hasbro have done, is they've taken a popular character from the animated line, given him the Generations treatment, and given him this G1 design with so much detail added to it. And I've seen so many different reviews of this figure saying that it's with all reviews on this figure being 100% positive, and rightfully so, because this figure ticks the box or boxes in a lot of different ways, in that it's perfect for its design, it's perfect for a lot of detail, and the colour scheme, while it's a little bit bleh, is pretty boring, I still think this figure is perfect in every single way. And I know that every time I review a Transformers toy, whether it be big or small, I'll go ahead and say it's perfect because of the detail and design and all this. So, but this, I think, is it's probably up there in my favourite Transformers toys. Because I like this figure a lot because it's a fine example of taking an animated character and putting him in the Generations line, and I would like to see this done a little bit more often. I would like to see, hopefully, a Generations Yokotron. That would be kind of cool. But I'm not holding out my hope for it. Sometimes Hasbro lets you down, and sometimes they don't. But yes, Lugnut. Lugnut is such a fantastic figure. I like this toy a lot. His alt mode is, of course, a futuristic bomber aircraft. I think I'm trying to remember the name of the plane, the mold of this jet. It's supposed to be a futuristic bomber jet resembling a Bartini Berev VV-A14 jet, and it's quite a nice looking alt mode as well. And one of the alt modes that work very well for this one character, because of course, like I said before, Lugnut is a very huge, stonking transformer, and you want to make sure that he has a huge alt mode to back it, a huge, menacing form to back it up. This is one of those, I think, and it does a very good job of that. And the one thing I like about this figure, amongst many other things, is that the detail, like I said, is very well done. The detail is one of the big exceptions for this figure, and the paint scheme is a little bit boring. It's just this generic dark green, which, if you don't like this version, I would recommend getting the United version, because the United Lugnut actually has the animated color scheme, and it looks just as good. The color scheme on that is much better than this, I think. I don't really like the color scheme on this figure that much. It's just a bit too boring. If they added a little bit more colors to it rather than just being this boring green, I would have liked it, but hey ho. And of course, on the side of the jet, you can see the shark mouth painted onto the sides of the jet, resembling old World War II aircraft to make them look fearsome, because back during the First and Second World War, most planes were painted with this sort of shark look to it to add the sort of death from above feel to it, and it does. This alt mode is very death from above. In fact, it's a shame that they didn't actually add the inscriptions "Death from Above" on the side of this jet, on the side of the figure itself. That would have been cool. Instead, you have on the wings and on the side on here as well, inscriptions saying LU6, NU7. And the same here, LU6 and U7. And that's because the Universe line during the 25th anniversary of Transformers actually had a trait for taking letters of characters' names and adding some numbers in it. Like, for example, Universe Galvatron is the one that stands out. You have, on that toy is Galv 25, and that's Galvatron 25 resembling, meaning it's the year resembling the 25th anniversary, the time the Transformers came out. So that's pretty good. I've got no complaints with this being there. It's in this very nice painted army font, which is very nice. And of course, on the turbines of the wings, there's this very warning, hazardous label, which is quite nice. And as well, on the cockpit, there are very nice red windows, which are this quite nice plastic. Oh, I want to talk about the plastic as well. The plastic on this figure is very good. It's very solid. It's how Transformers toys should feel. In that there isn't a single thing about this toy that has any bad plastic showing or being revealed, or when actually you grab a hold of it, there's no bad plastic. And the good thing about this alt mode as well is it hides the robot mode so well. There's not a little bit of robot mode being revealed at all. That's a good thing to see. And the wings, of course, can move up and down. Not sure why, because wings on jets don't move. But that's there for the robot mode gimmick, so we'll get to that in a minute. And of course, the turbines are painted this very nice bronze color. And speaking of bronze, these guns, of course, they don't really do very much, except they can rotate the 4-3-60, which is quite nice. The guns can move up and down, either shooting at enemies at the front or shooting enemies on the ground. That's what they're there for. And of course, on the bottom, there are wheels on this toy, in that you can have Lugnut taking off the ground or landing on the ground, depending on which way you want, because this is a big alt mode. This is a big jet. This was used mainly a lot to carry a lot of vehicles around, of course, and it was a bomber jet as well for dropping a lot of tanks and bombs and things like that. This is quite a menacing jet for Lugnut's form to be having, and that's a good thing to see. So yes, the alt mode. I've rambled on about the alt mode. This is a fantastic alt mode. The alt mode is very good. The painting is boring, but the detail and the schematics and the aesthetics of this figure is very, very good. So that's a good thing to see. And the transformation I'm going to get onto now. So the first thing I'm going to do is just focus our attention on the arms, move these panels down, and of course flip the fingers up. which of course have the wings move down and just rotate these bits around. The transformation for this figure is not that hard. It is a little bit complex, but it's thankfully not as complex to the point of complete annoyance, because with some Transformers, you have characters that have overly complicated transformations which can ruin the toy altogether, and that's a very bad thing to have. The one thing that you don't want to have in a Transformer is an overly complicated transformation. Megatron! Just saying. Anyway, yes, back on transformation, yes, move these parts down, which will become the robot legs, and of course, it's a whole thing about rotating these pieces around to reveal the legs as well. And slot these bits in, like that, and rotate these around to reveal the legs in full design. And of course, reveal the feet as well. And, of course, disconnect this piece, like that, and then push that forward, which that will ultimately reveal the robot head and move these pieces aside. If it'll let me, hang on. Lift up the head and just click that into place, and then just slot the waist right there. And here you have Lugnut in his robot mode. Now, right away I said that this is a fine toy for being, you're taking an animated character and putting him in the Generations line and making it work. And this is a fine example in that this robot mode is really, really good. I love the robot mode for this design, for this toy a lot. The robot mode for this form of Lugnut works so well. The first thing I'm going to take a look at, of course, is the head sculpt. And with animated Lugnut's head, the head of the toy never moves. It's an unmovable head. And as well painted as it is, I would have liked to have that head to have some movement. But thankfully, this one actually has a moving head in that it's on a ball joint, so it can swivel from side to side. Can't rotate the full 360 because of the chin, but there you go. And of course, the mouth can open and close quite nicely, so this is a fully articulated head. Death to Autobots. For the glory of Megatron! That's a very bad David K impression, I'm sorry. But yeah, the head is very nice, and of course, the Cyclops look. Because Lugnut is a Cyclops Transformer, he's up there next to Shockwave. In fact, somebody said, I think it was on the TF Wiki, that Lugnut was a secret love child of Shockwave and Omega Supreme. I see a bit of Shockwave in this. Omega Supreme, not much. I don't see it. But yeah, the head is very nicely painted. You can see, it has actually got some light piping on the top. So if you have a powerful LED, you can shine the light all the way through to reveal the light on the eye, which is very nice. And in terms of arm movement, of course, hear that noise? That's clicking joints, people. Clicking joints. That's a good thing for a Transformer to have. That's a sign that shows that the Transformer is healthy and that it's in good working condition. The arms, of course, can move from side to side. They can't rotate the full 360, sadly, but what are you going to do? And the legs are fine as they are. You can actually have the legs, well, the knees are very stiff, so you can actually have this guy in all sorts of cool little poses to make this figure look a little bit more menacing and more badass. There are many different pictures you can get of this figure to see how awesome he is. And one thing as well that I almost forgot to mention is that there's a weapon here. One of the gimmicks for this character is that he has instead of having a cane, well, not a cane, a staff, animated Lugnut had a staff which he can use to hit things. Instead, he hasn't got a staff, he has two things. One is that he has a hidden cannon hidden in the back of the jet, which of course if you lift that up, you can reveal the cannon right there. And it's not exactly good, but there's the cannon, there's him and his attack mode, and of course the missile launchers right there. And if you push that purple button, push the purple button, and it shoots out the missile. And then, oh, it's already out, but there you go, which is quite nice. And one gimmick as well that I really like about this figure is, and I really wish the animated figure has that as well, but Lugnut, of course, is known for having the punch of kill everything, in that he can jump high and use his fist to drop an atomic punch / bomb onto things and destroy everything. Pretty much the land of the surroundings within a 10-mile radius. That gimmick is in this figure, and it works quite well. In that, if you look on If you look on the arm, there's a purple button right there, and if you push the button, his fist shoots out. Same with this one. And as well, he has articulated fingers. That is really, really cool. I like this a lot. The one thing that you want to make sure you have in a Transformer is articulation in the fingers as well. They can always, that actually shows if the figure has some articulation in the fingers as well. That shows that the figure is very good. But yeah, this is a fantastic toy. Of course, the elbow articulation is as good as it can be, I suppose. But what can I really say about this figure? Saying that it's perfect isn't really enough. This is, like I said before, another example. This is a fine example in taking a character from a different series, whether it be animated or Beast Wars or any other series in the Transformers series so far, taking a character from that series and putting it into another series and giving it a different look. This is ticking that boxes in so many different ways. In that this is how you do a Transformers figure, I think. The plastic on this figure is very good. The detail is astonishingly well done and visually visible as well. The colors could be better, but then again, get the United version. Just saying. But this is a figure that I really think is the start of something really good for the Generations line, and it's going quite well. In that, I would like to see another animated character be put in the Generations line. Fingers crossed for Megatron. Or hell, even while we're on the subject, let's get a Generations Black Arachnia. Well, I wouldn't actually say Generations Black Arachnia, that'd be kind of cool. But I would highly recommend this figure. If you like the character, and the character is a very interesting one as well, I would get it. And if you like good Transformers toys that have this very unique, well-designed aesthetic to it, you can go no wrong than with Lugnut. I think that this is one of those figures that really sets apart from having good Transformers toys and bad Transformers toys. This is good. This is better than good. This is perfect, great in every regard. Highly recommended figure, great plastic, great detail. Just a fine example of how you do a Transformers toy and make it work. So anyway, this has been Reveal the Shield Lugnut, and I'm Skullgrim140. Until then, everybody, thanks for watching. See you next time.